Howdy, folks, and welcome to episode 134. What's your favorite? Dot dot dot. I just figured, hell, why not have an actual topic? We talk about this stuff all the time anyway. Might as well talk about an actual topic, and the topic be what we talk about, right? We've got McMurray with us right now.
What's up?
We are going to we're going to have Reese here probably around 8:30 or so.
Nice.
And we might actually have a Warbutt sighting once he finishes eating his ice cream tacos or his chicken ice cream or his whatever he's having.
Yeah, whatever dinner is.
Yeah. Um, as the usual, we're going to talk about what's going over at Wiley Games real quick. They got a hell of a deal going right now. Um, Tales of Horror, 20% discount through the entire month of October.
I must say that's the whole collection too. So I want to say that's
Yeah.
What is it? Blood or Crown? Tales of the Broken Crown or something?
Well, you got of course the book and the cards,
Yeah.
but you also can get 20% off. Carpathia comes to Catalonia
There you
for
go.
Horse and Musket. The annual Revenant Hunt, which will be played on the 14th at Wiley HQ.
Accurate. That's
The
their
Devil's-
annual Halloween game. Yeah.
Yep. The Devil's Crown
That's
campaign
the one.
for Fistful of Lead, Tales of Horror. Prey, a Xeno scenario for Horse and Musket. So apparently, as in Prey, like the movie, which I've still yet to see. Apparently, it's really good.
What's that about?
Tomb of Terror. Marshall Bill versus the Fanged Foreigner, a scenario for Western and Tales of Horror. Also, any of the Tales of Horror card merchandise, such as shirts and mugs.
Oh hell yeah!
So, yeah, it's if you are if you like the Tales of Horror cards, and you want to get a T-shirt or a mug with one of those face cards on it, hey, now's the time to do it. You get 20% off, and no code necessary. You just order it and boom, Bob's your uncle. So that's what's going down there. And then in a week and a half, McMurray and I will be at Wiley HQ playing some spooky themed games.
Accurate.
And one of us will be running a spooky themed game.
Correct. We got a spooky ACW coming up.
Yep, that's sounds good.
Yeah, it's a little weird, a little spooky. It'll be should be fun. Should be fun. Pretty simple. Good to play.
So, I threw up the "What's your favorite" as the topic, like I said, and Ninguaya comes in at 7:16 and does a little bit of ego boosting here and says, "I guarantee I can guess many people's favorite live stream. Hint: it happens on Wednesdays."
Oh, look at that guy. What a guy.
I know, right?
What a
Right? Richard Keenan comes in and says, "Evening." Charles Latora, hi. Telemachus, hello, folks. And then Chris Long, hello, gents. Spooky sale. And Manager Mike gives us a greetings, y'all. And Telemachus, Bob's my uncle. That's not what the paternity test said. But bumps.
Oh, wow. Lot to unpack there.
Hold on. Come on in, girl. You're allowed in here because you don't make a mess. Well, you don't make a mess in here. Hi, girl. Hi. Yes.
Which one is that?
This one's Corey. Hi. Yes. Yes. Oh, thank you. Okay. I'm down.
What's
find a place to
our
lie down.
first favorite, Chris?
Well, I thought we would talk about our favorite our favorite genre, whether it's gaming, movies, reading, what have you.
Oh,
So, um, you know, what in a lot of cases it's going to be the same, but in other cases it's not. So, reading in movies and TV for me, my favorite genre is science fiction.
oh,
Um,
okay, I gotcha.
so, I like. Everybody knows I love Star Wars. I love Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, even the classics. Going back and looking at yes, sweet baby, uh, stuff like Day the Earth Stood Still, or um, uh, what is it? Stop. Uh, War of the Worlds, um, John
Oh,
Carter of Mars. You know that.
yeah.
I love new sci-fi, old sci-fi. I'm all about the sci-fi in movies and reading, and even in gaming. It's not my favorite in gaming. It's not my favorite genre in gaming, but I do like gaming in the sci-fi realm. So, uh, Walkabout Games says sci-fi for TV and movies. Reading is historical. So, how about you? What do you like with in watching or reading?
With the rather notable exception of the works of H.G. Wells, because you're exactly right.
Yes.
War of the Worlds is one of the most engaging and delightful and fun things I've ever read. But with that notable exception, historical stuff. Um,
Yeah.
it's and I'm sure that doesn't really surprise anyone here, but
No.
um, but yeah, all day long, historical stuff. Again, whether I'm reading, watching a movie. I mean, excuse me. Essentially,
Bless you.
anything I'm doing is probably going to be historically centered. Um,
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I like historicals also, but um,
I mean,
for
yeah, dude, it makes sense. There's no reason to. You don't have to defend it. Like, it's all good. Star Wars is awesome.
no. Jeffrey Edwards says just switch to not Jay from watching Earth versus the flying saucers on Creature Feature.
Oh,
Well, there you
that probably
go.
counts as sci-fi then.
Yeah. Um, of course, Star Wars is my absolute favorite. And honestly, though, Star Wars is almost not science fiction.
What?
It's more science fantasy. It's more uh, space opera than it is actual science fiction.
I mean,
Because
space opera
you
is
got
still science fiction.
you got space wizards with. It's sword and sorcery in space. Let's be
That's
honest.
still science fiction.
Yeah.
Like,
I accept it as science fiction. A lot of people don't.
well, those people are
Of course,
probably kind of dumb. If you're
and
thinking
those
that,
people are wrong.
if you're thinking that things like War of the Worlds and whatnot are science fiction, which they are fiction that's based around science.
Right.
It's the same. It's the same idea for Star Wars. I don't understand that, but that's okay. I don't have to understand
it's
it.
not it's not a hard science fiction.
What do you
In
mean?
other words, it's not something that could actually happen. Like Star Trek. A lot of things in Star Trek.
What is it about Star Wars that sets it apart from Star Trek in terms of what could actually happen?
The Force. Space wizards.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, they're both traveling faster than the speed of light, so we're
Exactly.
already past the bounds of what is, physically possible. It just seems like at that point in time, people are being nitpicky dicks.
Yeah. in a lot of cases.
Okay. You're good. I
No.
just that seems like a weird distinction for people to draw.
It,
To
for
say the
whatever
least.
reason they do, I don't know.
Well,
So, Meander Mike says unrealistic physics. Well, and like you said,
again,
we're traveling faster than the speed of light.
Like, same in Star Trek, they both have explosions and noise and shit in space. Like, it's whatever, man. Like,
yeah,
I don't know why we got to get all uppity about one and not the other, except for just people being neckbeardies about the normal neckbeardy type stuff.
Exactly.
But it's like Coke and Pepsi people. Like, who gives a shit? It's still a dark colored soda that's super sweet and full of sugar. Like, okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sweet.
Oh. Cindy Diaz says hi. Hello. Walkabout Game says magic. I mean, that's really the only distinction you've got there that could possibly push Star Wars to be not science fiction. Is the Force and its magic. Warmutt says pew pew pew. Compare Battlestar Galactica 1 versus 2. 2 had a realistic maneuver in space, no banking like an atmospheric fighter. Again, though, you're still traveling faster than the speed of light, so just chuck all that out the window.
I was about to say, at the same time, who the hell knows how stuff maneuvers in space? It's all, you know what I mean? Who the fuck knows, man? There's there's no one on Earth who can say, no, this is absolutely how something traveling, 18 times faster than we can currently propel a spacecraft, and with none of the logistical requirements of an actual spacecraft.
Right.
That's how it should work. What are you talking about, man? Anyways, we're getting far into the weeds there, and I apologize.
That's okay. Warmutt says he'll join for a bit, needs permission. Didn't he say last week he had permission?
I don't know.
Did I thought he said he had permission already. Chris Long says prime example last night's episode. We're not discussing last night's episode because I have not seen last night's episode, referring to Ahsoka. So please, no spoilers. It's the last episode of the season/series. So we won't discuss it. What's that? You there?
Yeah, my little router thingy is flashing red instead of white like it usually does. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Okay. Have you powered it recently?
Have I? I mean, it's back to white.
Okay.
Probably
a glitch or something. So, for gaming, I would have to say my go-to in gaming is World War II naval combat. It just I always seem to go back to it. My number 2 is Cold War anything. If I can't get World War II naval combat game of some nature in, I'm gonna go Cold War. For no other reason than I lived it. I lived during that time frame, so I gotta. It was always big scary. This is gonna happen to us, type thing. I knew that if it was gonna happen, my dad was gonna go to the Fulda Gap with the 49th Armored. It just was. How about you? What do you got?
Man, I don't know. That's a good question. Because
you will just about play anything.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, I mean, I will play. Yeah, if somebody puts on a game, I will play in it. And if somebody is looking for a game, there's a fighting chance that I've got the stuff.
Right.
I don't actually. I don't know if I have just like a whole ass answer for you. I think. Well, if I can break it down, like sci-fi wise, it would be Victorian sci-fi, War of the Worlds type stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
That makes sense for you.
Probably pretty obvious for folks, especially anybody who's been watching and has seen the absurd amount of Victorian sci-fi slash Victorian sci-fi and War of the Worlds stuff that I've done in 28, 6, the whole 9 yards. The historical, that's rough. The thing I enjoy gaming the most might be Age of Sail, but the thing that I probably actually game the most is probably World War II.
Yeah.
If I had to guess. Just because it's what I've wind up I feel like it's what I wind up playing the most, if that makes any sense, which it might not. But I don't I'm not actually 100% sure how I'd answer that question. I really do enjoy playing a lot of different stuff, and I've built collections for a lot of different stuff. As, again, all of you know. Wow, I'm having a dickens of a time actually answering that question. I think that's probably it, though. Like World War II, kind of in all facets, whether it's infantry combat, naval combat, any scale of infantry combat from like 28 millimeter fistful of lead type stuff where we got 5 guys aside to company level or platoon level 28s, platoon level 15s, company level 15. Occasionally up to almost battalion level 15, and then even larger as you get down to 6 mil.
Right. Oh yeah.
I shockingly don't really have any World War II smaller than 6 mil on land. 6 mil is about where my naval stuff starts in terms of small boats. Then we branch all the way. We jump to 1 to 1200, or I'm sorry, 1 to 600 for a couple of things, not a whole lot, mainly aircraft.
Hola.
We have the mutt.
¿Cómo estás? But yeah, we hit 1-600 for aircraft. There's a couple 1-600 ships, not many. An increasing number of 1 to 1200 ships. I painted a bunch of those during your paint challenge. I have a bunch of those Gukek ones that I blew up to 150% from 1-1800.
Yeah.
To make them 112. And I made a bunch of those. Actually, just today I was at Schaefer's Hobbies in South St. Louis here, and I picked up a kit from Atlantis, which is allegedly 1-1200. It's a combat task force fleet that's just probably post-dated to after World War II. But it's got Hornet, Washington, Canberra, which is not U.S., but that's okay. And then light cruiser Galveston, and then a couple early Cold War things, right? Like frigate Dewey. There's a couple destroyer escorts, a destroyer. You got the Sullivans, Powell, Barry, and then a couple attack transports and whatnot, an LST, and then a blatantly Cold War submarine, the Patrick Henry. But the point is, it's a bunch of 1200, and for the 12 ships, it was like $30.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was kind of one of those, if a few of these are worth it, like Washington and one or two of those destroyers, then that's drastically, because I think the Sullivan's is a Fletcher.
Yes, it is.
And then, there's an LST and then a couple of relatively generic cargo ships.
There you go.
And getting those in 1200 for $3, it's almost worth it just to do that as opposed to trying to monkey around getting files I'm not super familiar with to 3D print,
Right, right. And are they decent models?
I have not cracked it open. I'm working on. I decided that for the next week and a half, I'm just going to build up kind of surplus extra terrain for my game I'm putting on next weekend. So I have intentionally not really messed with it in terms of I've been just putting together random 15 mil terrain that I've got. Because I have some things from the basement ACW terrain that I'm putting together. So I have not really messed with those ships. I got those today. Like those are brand new to the collection, as it were.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Hey, Mutt.
What?
What's your favorite genre to either watch TV or read books in or play games in?
Favorite genre? Yeah, man, that could go. I guess it just depends on what mood I'm in.
Heard that. I mean, I think gaming-wise, we probably have a general idea of where we're going.
What? It'll be post-apocalypse. It'll always be post-apocalypse.
Yeah, so whether that's zombies or like some sort of radiation post-apocalypse, like I think we got that going for us for the gaming.
Yeah.
Even though you've really been branching out in your gaming in terms of, your hobby side of things.
Oh yeah, I've been doing a whole lot more historicals and stuff, but yeah, but see, I like to do historicals, but you know what I'm going to do with them? I mean, I'll play some historical, legit games.
Yeah, you're going to weirdify them.
Yeah, then I'm gonna mess it all up.
There's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's still pretty awesome. I mean, there's some people that get a little territorial about it, but again, they're your models. So
yeah, and then I lean towards the fantasy. Both sides, sci-fi and regular. I mean, fantasy. It's just But yeah, I'm a butterfly, dude. I pretty much go. It depends on what mood I'm in.
So you picked possibly the two worst people to actually ask about this because it's both of us kind of just bounce. Like with Todd, you'd know you were looking at World War II, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
A lot of land and then also some air because Todd does like the air combat.
Right.
But
we're not gonna give. I can't give you a straight I'm just World War II. I'm Vietnam.
Well, again, that's what my problem was too. Was man, I do all kinds of shit,
Uh-huh.
It's part of I think why I enjoy the hobby because it's hard to get bored when you've got
Western.
Yeah, there's so much out there.
Yeah, especially when you're like me and you have a problem. So there's so much out there, and most of it's in your house.
The only thing I haven't done yet, or has been any interest in yet, and I'm sure it will happen, is the steampunk side, Victorian stuff.
If we were just talking about that, buddy, that was my favorite sci-fi sort of thing, was Victorian sci-fi.
Yeah. Wasn't that steampunk, Victorian sci-fi?
Kind of. It's a little bit different, but it's the same. They're real easy to get. They're real
easy. It's got the same feel.
Yeah. They're real easy to meld. Victorian sci-fi is what I think Chris might call a little bit closer to harder sci-fi. Is that the term you used?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Whereas steampunk's a little more out there,
fantastical,
fanciful. You've got weird
See, what would you classify that movie, Immortal Engines, the book and the movie and all that?
The what?
Oh, that's definitely steampunk.
Yeah, steampunk.
Will Smith's Wild Wild West is steampunk.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
What was that movie you just talked about, Brian?
Mortal Engines or Immortal Engines, something like that. It was
Mortal Engines.
It's off a book series.
What's that?
So
yeah, London. All these. Yeah.
If I remember correctly, entire cities are built on these giant walkers.
Yeah.
No.
And and when I mean giant walkers, I'm talking like literally it is a city.
Yeah, or
on
tracks.
A platform, or maybe it's tracks, one of the two. And they literally roll around on the earth, and when they come up against each other, because resources are so limited now, they actually fight. The cities fight each other, like old time sailing ships.
Hell yeah.
It's pretty cool. I mean, and they actually swallow up smaller cities too. Not like literally like eat them or anything. They like ingest them in, capture them, and then they create them to be, then they try to make them more of who they are or whatever. I don't know,
Yeah, they add to their city by they add
absorbing
to
other
their
cities.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. That sounds kind of like a weird combination of like H.G. Wells. He wrote a short story called Leviathans.
Yeah. Similar.
Combined with I don't really know what it sounds like, almost Necromunda or the Matrix type shit. But yeah, that's a good short story. Again, anything H.G. Wells you're going to be pretty rocking with. Oh, there's a question. Is like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle is his stuff that's not Sherlock Holmes, so like the Lost World and stuff. Is that sci-fi, or is that like that's Victorian sci-fi pretty hard, right? That's not.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I'm just confirming here because that's one of those. Okay, so that's a little bit different though. Like it's not. There's nothing like sci-fi about that. It's just kind of like that and like Journey to the Center of the Earth and stuff. It's not really
right. It's for I look at it this way. For the time it was written, would it be considered science fiction?
It was certainly considered fiction. I mean, it still is considered fiction. Right. It's just it doesn't meet that traditional sci-fi. Like there's no space lasers or you know what I mean. Like there's not.
Right.
It's not even that there's anything, that fanciful in terms of technology. It's just exploring the bounds of the natural earth. Like you could argue probably that Island of Dr. Moreau, that's more fanciful because vivisection isn't like that's just plainly not something that works. It's not trying to discover something that's undiscovered and then you find something undiscovered, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'm a big fan of those two. And
Meandering Mike.
Yeah.
Meandering Mike says earthly science fiction, and Telemachus says adventure fiction.
There you go. Adventure fiction might be a good name for like Journey to the Center of the Earth and whatnot. That's a good point. That's
so Jules Verne type stuff. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and that type of stuff. So I can tell you one H.G. Wells book that I am not a fan of. And you and I have talked about it before, and I cannot get I do not like The Invisible Man.
Really?
I know the character is the main character is meant to be a bad guy, but I have a hard time with the idea of the main character being the antagonist, not the protagonist.
Yeah, so it's that's part of
it's It's well written. It's very engaging, but I can't get into it. I don't like it.
Yeah, that's part of why Wells is so interesting as a writer, is because you want your main character to be somebody you can relate to and enjoy, and man, that's the exact opposite. That dude's a straight piece of shit.
Yeah, like, you cannot. At first you
egomaniacal homicidal maniac. Like,
yeah, you want to, see, well, maybe he's just one of these misunderstood characters, or nope. He is just a pile of steaming dog
straight
shit.
Straight up douche. Yep. Nope. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's just a bad character. Like, he's just a bad.
He's a good character. He's a well-written character, but he's a bad guy.
Correct. Very much so. There are no redeeming qualities about that character.
Yeah.
Which, again, is part of what makes... And again, I think part of what I enjoy about Wells in particular, and those couple selected ones with the other authors that we just, talked about, with The Lost World and, like, Journey to the Center of the Earth. Journey to the Center of the Earth is not a bad book. There are bad guys in Journey to the Center of the Earth, right?
Yeah.
It's they die pretty quickly, but
right.
That I would certainly term as adventure fiction, because there's certainly less bad guy type characters and more like we talked about, you're fighting the world that you're in. Whereas even in The Lost World, there's some bad guy characters. You've got the simians, like, they're still bad guys. You've got the bad helpers that knock down the bridge and run off and everything.
Right.
But yeah, dude, like the whole the idea / premise that Wells does kind of one thing sci-fi or one thing wild / fantasy, and then that's it. Like, the Invisible Man, the only thing that is different or sci-fi or anything there is that, okay, this guy is invisible. Everything else, right down to all of the flaws of human nature, are still right there. In War of the Worlds, you've got this crazy alien race. Okay, that's the only sci-fi that's there. Humanity isn't inventing wild things to fight back. Not, there isn't another race of aliens coming in. Nope. Germs, baby.
Yeah.
Germs.
Yep, exactly.
That I enjoy that sort of thing. That gets me. That's what I like about his fiction in particular. Sorry, Brian. I know we're getting real lost in the weeds here, bud.
Oh no, I was getting my dinner.
Brian likes fiction, but he only likes fiction that comes in hardback books.
Exactly.
Yes.
Hardback books and zombies.
Yeah.
There's no way Brian thought I was going to remember that. Sorry, buddy.
Mystery and thrillers, actually, in your fiction.
I care about you. That means I remember things about you.
Eric is in the house. Hey, how you doing, buddy? He says, "Hey, McMurray, have you ever played Lee's Greatest Gamble?"
Lee's Great. What's that about? I haven't played it, but it sounds like something that might be on the kind of watched list or the stuff I'm looking at list. What's Lee's Greatest Gamble about? Is that Gettysburg, or is that Antietam?
I'm taking a look at it.
There you go.
It's a 1992.
Okay.
It is. Game is a simulation of the battle which took place between Lee's Army of Northern Virginia and Meade's Army of the Potomac at Gettysburg.
Yep, Gettysburg. Okay.
During the first 4 days, included in the game are 22 by 34 map sheet, 200 counters, and 18 pages of rules.
I have not. That sounds pretty.
It looks like it's a magazine. Came in a magazine called Command Military History Strategy.
Jeff may have just dropped that off, or Jeff may have just sent that to Todd, who dropped it off at my house. I am not sure.
There you
go. That might be one of those. Or no, I'm sorry. That Gettysburg game is Harvest of Death. That's around the Round Tops and Devil's Den and the Wheat Field at Gettysburg. I don't think it is because there's that and then a Shiloh. Hey, Brian. For those of you who just missed it, skip back a couple seconds. Oh, no, he's back. Oh, no, he's gone.
And now he's gone. He's back. And he's gone. He's wearing a Star Wars shirt.
Life with Brian is a great big tease.
Yeah.
Star Wars shirts my little pretty much become. When you get home from work, you always have like a shirt or two that you just throw on the lounge around the house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Buddy, what have you been doing recently, Brian?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 20 more Greeks to paint.
I just mean in general recently since you've hopped on.
In general, you mean are you trying to get at the paint challenge?
Yes. Jesus.
I was wondering about my front and backyard installations, landscapes.
Yes, Brian recently installed AstroTurf in his front and backyard.
Not AstroTurf.
It's fake grass, isn't it?
Synthetic lawns, yes.
Okay.
AstroTurf.
Synthetic lawn with which actually has
AstroTurf.
Anyway.
Yes, I know that.
Thatch. It has thatch built. It has thatch installed in it, weaved in it, and all that stuff. So yeah, pretty cool. But anyways, what are we talking about? The paint challenge thing?
Yeah.
Oh, real quick walkabout. He didn't do 412.
Yeah, my apologies.
Yeah, I was sitting there talking you up, man.
What are you talking about? Talking me up? I did more than 400.
You didn't do more than 400.
I absolutely fucking did.
No, you just said in the messenger that you didn't do 400 something.
I did 442.
Man,
what did I send you?
Here. I'm looking it up right now.
Hang on.
Yeah, here we go.
What did I send you?
You sent me saying.
Me and Mike, yes, AstroTurf is a brand name, just like Kleenex is a brand name. So, but everybody calls any facial tissue a Kleenex.
Total is 242 plus the 10.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's 442. My mistype. It is 442.
And then I said I thought it was 412 plus, and you said forgot all the guns and boats was a pretty rush estimate. Math wasn't great. No, math wasn't great.
Yeah, as in, I'm sorry. I mean, I thought you were saying you thought I counted more. I did because I actually counted up all of the boats and the guns and stuff, which I hadn't gotten into that count that night because I was, 18.
So he painted up 442 28s and 32 mils.
I painted up 442 15s and then 10 28s, but the 10 28s aren't in the picture. You don't have to count them.
Is that picture good enough, though, the one you sent me to put up?
I mean, I can do that, or I can take a couple of smaller pictures if you want me to.
I just want it to be one pic. I'm not going to sit there and upload. So
okay, then yep, that's all of them, other than the 28s. That's 442 miniatures, and then there's a couple in there that I already had done. I think there's 18 in there that I've already done, but that's not.
It was a pretty cool challenge, man.
It was a super cool challenge.
I didn't know that Walkabout had COVID or whatever. And I was like, because I was like, I'm sure wondering, because I know he's a paint machine.
Yeah, so, he is. He's a monster.
Yeah, but there was quite a few people that really went to town on it. And then it's kind of neat that some were saying, I can only do 5. And I'm like, that's fine.
Guess what? 5 is 5 more miniatures than you had painted at the start of September, my dude.
Yeah, actually, Gem Jar 43.
I got 2 done.
He couldn't get to it. His work just got in the way and all that, and he's feeling all bad. And I was like, nope, life happens, dude.
That's not why we're here. We're not here for you to feel bad.
You didn't pay an entry fee or anything, so
yeah. There's no prizes. There's no nothing. Just
So
good for you.
I'm in the middle of getting a collage or whatever you want to call it up, and then have the channels. And some don't have channels on that or YouTube channel.
Montage. Yeah, sorry, that McMurray guy doesn't have a. That McMurray guy doesn't have a channel. He spends all his time painting miniatures, not making a YouTube.
Yeah, Chris, you won't believe how many people would like to see McMurray have a YouTube channel.
These guys won't shut. They won't shut the hell up about it, Chris. Neither will you, so that doesn't really count. But
I know. Well, yeah, I was talking about to not Jade. It's just
I know.
All I'm saying is if McMurray does get his own channel, the rest of us will just be lost. We won't have any viewers anymore.
Yeah,
because they'll all just abandon us and go be McMurrayites.
Absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
Telemachus says, bringing us back to topic.
Yeah.
How about old horror like Dr. Moreau, Jekyll and Hyde, House of Wax versus new horror, Friday the 13th, Halloween Takes a Chainsaw?
Okay.
Old is more thematic. New is throw fake blood at the screen. Any opinions? Okay, I'm going to just say it right out. First off, I don't like horror flicks.
Correct.
But to me, the classic horror, the classic scary movies like Frankenstein and the old Dracula movies, I'm good with those. Jekyll and Hyde, stuff like that. Even Young Frankenstein has got that feel. Because
the Mel Brooks Young Frankenstein?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm in.
There's a feel to it. It's more psychological than it is in your face. I don't like in your face.
I can't stand
type.
Jump scares.
No, I don't.
Paranormal activity type movies. They don't do anything for me. I'm not a fan.
Nope, I don't like them because what it does is it triggers that fight or flight sensation in me, and I don't like that sensation.
That's reasonable. That's fair.
I don't like being scared. I won't go. I won't go to haunted houses. I won't. I cannot stand. Yeah, I don't. Yes, Chris Long says you don't like slasher films. I do not like slasher films. But to be fair, I don't like movies like Salem's Lot or The Exorcist. I don't do those either.
I watched The Exorcist. It wasn't my favorite by any means.
Hi, baby. Hey there, Reese.
How are you?
Mr. Reese. What's up, buddy? Oh, man, look at that. Man, you got a license to drive that dump truck?
Yeah, something like that.
Is it getting cold over there?
It was asked earlier. Let me see. Right after you made mention that you were on your way home. Let me see here. Oh yeah. Meanery Mike says, Reese, were you working all these days? You impregnating rhinos or some other exotic animal?
Turkeys, baby. Turkeys. Thanksgiving's coming, man.
I'm good for one thing and one thing only. What can I say?
Nothing like finger blasting a turkey.
I was about to say, Thanksgiving is coming and so are Reese's turkeys.
Hey, Chris, it looks like your brother lost quite a few 50mm road trader tanks.
What?
He just put on there, said, sad news. It appears Serve Pro threw away our 15mm road trader tanks. I'm devastated.
We'll just
Jay.
have to.
Well,
Jay's July Jamboree.
We can get that figured out.
Wow.
That can be resolved.
Well, it's just the point that they didn't keep them.
Well, that's fair, but they're also probably pretty trashed. Let's be honest. If they were 3D prints that got exposed to fire and water?
No, they were 3D prints that were exposed to smoke.
And an excessive amount of water, right?
No.
No?
Nope. They were in a completely different part of the house.
Oh, beats me then.
Just had smoke damage. But, you know what?
Again, easily fixable.
Print them, paint them.
Print them? I'll help you paint them, Jay. Chris tells you I'd be more than delighted to help paint stuff.
Yeah.
He knows that, but
Eric wants to know what the theme of the show tonight, by the way. read the title and then the description. It's what's your favorites. Yeah. So
there's a question for Reese.
I like long walks in the park.
Yeah,
for
singing in the rain.
Coladas and getting caught in the rain too, but you don't hear me singing about it.
Brian's a big fan of candlelit dinners. Long walks on the beach.
Long walks on the beach.
And by long walks on the beach, I mean anywhere in Arizona because it's covered in sand.
Mm-hmm.
Except for his backyard now. Hey!
Heard something about AstroTurf?
Nope, no AstroTurf.
Synthetic lawn.
Just fancy synthetic grass.
Synthetic grass.
Brian's too classy for
I thought he was going to pull a Brady Bunch and mow the synthetic grass.
Well, that's
right.
Just tired of coming home. I have to do what I do for a living.
That's fair. That is what we like to call entirely reasonable.
Mm-hmm. Just like Reese, he doesn't have turkeys at his house or whatever.
I'm not allowed to by federal law.
Yeah. Wait, federal law or state law?
Pretty sure it's federal law because I work at a poultry facility. The risk of contamination is too high.
Oh, okay. I thought you just meant like federally you couldn't have turkeys at your house. I was like,
yeah, I did something weird to a turkey one time, and now I've got to sign up for this list.
Yeah.
He's on a list.
For most turkeys and stuff. You know, hey man, I'm not going to judge. I mean, I am. And real harsh,
he does weird things to turkeys every day of his fucking life. What are we talking about here?
Exactly.
You got the adjective right there.
Weird things to turkeys or every day or what? Like there are a fair number of adjectives there. But Reese, favorite if you're going to be watching a movie or reading a book or something, what's your favorite period, genre? Or I think we said genre for that one.
Yeah, genre.
Do you prefer like sci-fi or fantasy or, technical nonfiction? Like, are you reading turkey porking manuals in your spare time?
Something like that. It goes back and forth between technical nonfiction and anything between, let's say, 1880 and 1918 or 1920. Let's just round up.
So historical then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Last Reveille by, what's his name?
Oh, I love that guy.
You know what I'm talking about, though. That's like my favorite book of all time.
With a turkey.
The Last Reveille.
Brian, you okay over there? I think we're making Brian.
It's by the same guy that wrote Rambo: First Blood.
Oh,
Morrell.
David Morrell.
There you go.
David Mushroom.
All I could say was Billy Conti, and I was like, no, that's Eye of the Tiger. Come on, McMurray.
I did branch into a new period, though.
Korean.
Just today.
Korean War.
A shipment arrived from the great country of Great Britain. Full of 1/2400th scale ironclads.
Oh, baby. Again, ironclads in ACW or ironclads is in...
So I am starting with ACW. My intention is to go ACW to 1898.
Tumbling dice?
Yeah, tumbling dice.
Nice. There you go.
So I just like, me, I like amending rules. I think Ocean Thunder will work for it.
Yes, it will.
So I'm just going to make a few changes and run Ocean Thunder.
If you're wanting to do bigger stuff, again, I'd highly recommend the good Dr. David Manley Dahlgren and Columbiad.
Well, some of you may or may not know. I have an alternate timeline that has lived in my head for years about an event in 1898 that would have triggered World War I in 1898. And I would love to play that out on the tabletop, all scales, all kinds. But the one thing that was holding me back was the naval stuff.
Why? Why didn't you just ask me about it?
Well, because I hated naval stuff forever.
Well,
but I didn't know
that's not my fault.
I didn't know you forever. And then Chris started talking about Ocean Thunder, and I played it, and I was like, I'm sold. So
yeah,
I'll figure out how to amend it.
Plan for my Spanish American War game, and we just didn't get the rules rocked out in time. But that is because originally I was going to put the hit locations on each of the, like I was going to just draw the grid on those bases.
That would have been awesome.
Right? And then it would be, okay,
put a fire marker or something on there.
Just look at quite literally where you where you hit.
But I am stupid, and I cannot stay on topic. I looked at these, and I went, man, if you put a couple of spars on them and a couple of like stabilizers, you could put a magnet on them and do like Victorian airships.
Correct. Irregular actually sells like hulls with fins on them, specifically designed to fit general approximations of 1 to 2,400 models.
Good to know.
To turn them into Victorian airships. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I've been throwing around all kinds of ideas with it.
Because Irregular is amazing.
And then I was bored to death the other day, because I often am.
Well, that'll happen.
And came up with a crazy idea about Nazi scientists hiding out on a Pacific island, and the Soviet Union and the United States battling over finding them.
Oh yeah, bro, Paperclip Pacific.
Basically, but it's a 3-way war, because the Germans have had like 5 years to develop their technology. So you have stuff like the updated Me-262 and like all the Lu-46 stuff, but versus Korean War era aircraft.
I got you. That's pretty slick.
So I've been working on putting that together too in 1/600.
More than a little bit of chub.
Yeah, and that's all going to be 1/600 aircraft, like nothing else, just air battles.
Yeah, dude, that makes sense.
So yeah, that's kind of what I'm working on right now. But yeah, if I had a favorite period to game, it's a toss-up between the Boer War and Middle East and World War One.
Hell yes.
So give me a felt hat, tall boots, and a rifle, and I'll be at home in any of those. So.
Buddy, yeah. There you go. Now you're just motivating me to get my 3mm World War One, Middle Eastern stuff done.
You know I have it in 54.
I get that, but I have that 25 times smaller. Like
anyway, I didn't mean to jump on and dominate the conversation, but
no, I mean that's really what we've each been talking about in turn.
Man, it's been too long since I've been on here.
Accurate.
So it's been 3 weeks, and I'd still feel like it's too long.
That is too long.
Facts.
Yeah.
No, it's I mean, again, quite literally, that's all we've been talking about is just covering that same stuff.
But the first figures I ever painted were Boer War figures.
Yeah, we've talked about that before, I believe.
And I still have them. I love them. I did a unit of Remington Tigers.
I got you.
They were dismounted because I don't have any 54mm bores, which frustrates me. And Walkabout, I have talked about this.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'd imagine that would be tough to get a hold of.
The mounted bores, yeah, they are.
What's the easiest way to kind of? Oh God, mounted bores especially.
No, I have 54mm like dismounted, but I don't have 54mm mounted.
What would you have to do for that? Take like Civil War cavalry and try and give them different guns?
So there's a company in Singapore. There's a company in Singapore called Expeditionary Force Miniatures, and they make Frontier Light Horse for the Zulu War.
Okay.
That are a close enough approximation.
Yeah.
They've got, I think, Martini Metfords maybe.
But what do they cost? Like $8 a figure?
What will it cost, man? What will it cost?
Well, the shipping is included. Hang on, they've upped their prices since I've looked at them because it's been years.
Yeah.
Because all of my colonial stuff is in storage right now.
Understandable.
And my miniature collection is in 2 different states.
Yep.
So still working on getting all together. They expanded to the Alamo now? That's interesting. Hopefully they remember that.
Zing.
I gotta find it.
See what you did there.
Thank you.
No, you're good. It's like
$40 probably.
What's up?
$40 for 1, 2, probably 5 figures. So yeah,
$8. Yeah, $8 a figure. See, here's the fun part.
Shipping's included.
Find 4 War like well sculpted STLs.
Okay.
We can upscale them.
And see, I want to do that.
I was going to say the trouble you run into is that it's hard to find kind of niche STLs sometimes, because when people can't, like, there's a market, but there's not a huge market, right? Because there's not, well, you have to use these figures to play these games. So you get a lot of fantasy stuff that's out there.
Now,
and watch Chris Long.
I do have a hookup on horses. Toy Soldiers of San Diego makes the best 54 millimeter horses in the world.
Oh, okay, there you
go. And so other people buy their horses in bulk and mount their figures on them and sell them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I need to buy some more, and they're all kitted out for the Civil War. But I'm sorry, if a boar's riding a McClellan rig, I don't care.
Yeah, right. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
There's a distinct possibility that in the intervening 35 years,
there probably were McClellan rigs in South Africa in the 1890s.
Almost without question.
I would put money down. There was at least 5.
At least 5. At least 5 of them.
I mean, how common the McClellan rig was in the States after the war.
Exactly.
And all the American adventurers that went down there, even to Rhodesia and Matabele land and everything else.
Especially once you hit diamonds, man.
Yeah.
That's before we even start talking about, confederales like you get everywhere else around the world, like in South America and everywhere else.
Yeah. So McClellan rigs, South Africa. Quick Google. Let's see what happens.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And for everybody that's not an equestrian, we're talking about saddles.
I'm not an equestrian. Horses suck, but yes, we are talking about saddles.
And I'm not. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I just felt the need to clarify that. I hate horses, but that's not the point.
You're good.
They poop all over trails.
Very, very common in Mexico.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Northwest Mounted Police in Canada used them.
Not surprising.
They were used by Dominion forces in the Boer War. And used into the 70s by the Grey Scouts in Rhodesia.
Jesus Christ. There you go. So at that point in time, you're riding a 105-year-old saddle. But that's not surprising.
Well, I mean, the design is 105 years.
No, I know.
But, I mean, I just took a 112-year design off my belt earlier. So.
Correct.
I mean, if you're going to trust it with your life, you're going to trust it with your life. So.
And your horse's butt.
Yeah.
More like your butt, but yeah.
Walkabout, let's talk privately with no other offers on the table.
Did Walkabout find some STLs?
He found a leftover stock of 54 millimeter from his store.
Oh shit, Chris, you're all of a sudden Reese's best friend.
Well, when he showed me some of his Victorian sci-fi conversions, I was sold.
What's up?
When he showed me his Victorian sci-fi conversions, I was sold in a heartbeat.
You said Victorian what?
Sci-fi.
Yeah, I know. What? You don't
know anything about it?
No. But anyways, we can talk about that later too.
It's on Discord. Check it out.
Okay. Oh yeah.
They're pretty slick.
Yes, they are. They are beyond slick. They are outstanding.
If I've shown you I think I've shown you my Armies in Plastic Lego conversion with a C96.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big fan.
That is still one of my favorite things I've ever done.
Big fan.
Toy Soldiers of San Diego, Cont AIP, and wow. Okay. Yeah, let's talk at some point.
Cuss and discuss.
Yeah.
But yes, so there we go. We got all kinds of favorites. What else? What other favorites were you thinking about, Mr. Chris?
Well, we had touched briefly on gaming, but What? Well, we always seem to talk about food.
Food?
We don't have to do food.
As long as turkey doesn't come up, I'll be fine.
We always do food. Food sucks. We always do food, man.
Well, eventually I'll have Peloponnesian War going on.
There you go. So we all know my favorite ship of all time is BB-35, USS Texas.
It's not BB-1?
BB-8?
No. You're thinking of BB-000. That was Texas.
No, I'm thinking of BB-1, baby. BB-1, baby. Not Indiana. Shut up. I know.
Star Destroyer?
But my second all-time favorite
gotta be the X-Wing.
Actually,
naval
this
vessel
is a good question. Is it a World War II vintage vessel?
It is.
Okay. Is it a U.S. vessel?
It is.
Is it a capital ship?
It is.
All right. Does it mount triple 16-inch turrets?
It does.
Okay. Is it part of the South Dakota class?
It is not.
Is it the USS Missouri?
Yes, it is.
All right. I should not be able to do that shit just straight out of my brain while I'm putting together an MDF kit, but I am okay with that.
No, the USS Missouri, there's something about it's like the exact opposite of Texas.
It's those lines, baby.
Yeah. There's just something. Yeah, the Washington and North Carolina are nice. The South Dakotas are
I was about
nice.
to say, I kind of like the South Dakota class. But at the same time, I realize why the Iowas are superior.
Well, because they're better looking ships.
Well, they are, but they're also like fully ridiculous Atlantic to Pacific to anywhere fleet capable, not just.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the South Dakota is only one ocean capable, but it seems like the Iowa class really pioneered like the idea that you have now, where you've got aircraft carriers that are essentially self-sufficient cities that, as long as you can keep them supplied with food, they're just good for a long time. And I realize that that's not how the Iowa class works, but it certainly has that grandiose feel, right? It blew all the designs that everyone other than, Japanese pipe dreams had in the water.
It was the Iowas were literally bigger than life.
Correct. But also at the same time still ultra practical. They are the apex battleship concept. They're not. I would argue that while the Yamato might be the end of the battleship concept, it's not the apex. That's not the best battleship ever designed. It might be the biggest and the dumbest, but it's not.
It was the biggest and ultimately the deadest.
Shit.
Even everybody. Okay, I say this with the understanding, when I mean everybody that does not actually study World War II naval combat, everybody always talks about how the Bismarck was such a great ship.
Which in 1937, it certainly could have made that argument.
Absolutely.
How the Krauts didn't figure out, hey, look, we have triple fucking 11s. We have triple 11s. That's super cool. The actual technological, advancements that we need to build triple 15s when we can already build the 15, 48 gun? I don't think it's 48. Yeah. That's wrong. But you get my point. Like, we can build the guns, no problem. Like, can we make these turret castings? you guys can figure that shit out. But no triple 15s, despite the fact the entire world had shifted to triple turrets, including the Germans. That's what pisses me off about the Bismarcks, right? Is that even the Germans had said, hey, 15s or triples are the way to go. They just made Scharnhorst and Gneisenau, which are incredibly good ship designs. There's obviously flaws in them because they weren't battleships and they weren't battle cruisers. But for all their flaws, they are still incredibly viable ship designs that would have been a perfect jumping off point for triple 15s, especially when you, again, take into account that people already understood you could have triple turrets and only rock 3 turrets and still be fine. Especially if those were individual guns, not actual triple guns, right? So if you can elevate and do, independent operations on those guns, even better. If not, you're still fine. Like, for Christ's sakes, the British had already been rocking around the 4s and 2s, Anyways, we're getting ultra lost in weeds here, and I apologize.
That's okay. I have a 5-minute discussion on a certain type of saddle and whether it served in South Africa or not.
That's fair. We did just talk about that. But
that's what we do here. That's what we do here. Now the Bismarck is a pretty ship. There's no doubt about it.
So is Tirpitz. Beautiful ships. Cool.
That being said, I think they would have been, if they had been 3 triple 15s, they would have been a lot scarier.
And I'm not saying that 3 triple 15s would have solved the Bismarck's problems or the Tirpitz.
No.
Because ultimately, you're still just going to get the shit rocked out of you in a fjord by the RAF, right? That's right. There's no ifs, ands, or buts there. Like, the RAF is still going to sink Tirpitz. Ultimately, Bismarck still probably would have been sunk, in essentially, off France, trying to reach Brest.
Yeah. Well, but let's be honest. The only reason we did not lose any more battleships to air power after Pearl Harbor is because we surrounded those sons of bitches with anti-aircraft capable ships.
And I think it's important here to say we, as in the U.S., because the British still lost 4C, and the U.S. is the only power that immediately latched onto that and went, oh shit, here we got to do this.
Right.
So the British still lost 4C. To a certain extent, you could argue that the Japanese lost, Yamato and Musashi the same way, except for they also didn't have the air power necessary to support them anyways. Like, there was no saving, Yamato and Musashi to air power. That's just it's almost a foregone conclusion. They're going to die.
Well, and this goes to what Telemachus stated. War is never resolved 1 versus 1. That's why the best ship tank didn't matter.
Exactly.
To an extent, yes. However, because of the, I would dare say that what the best destroyer out there was the shit ton of Fletchers we had.
I would certainly argue that the most capable destroyer class of the war overall is certainly the Fletcher. Granted, that's again, you run into the same issues, right? Where, well, correct, but at the same time, how many nations other than the U.S. and maybe the UK could actually develop destroyers over the course of the war, as opposed to just kind of having to stopgap, say, oh, well, we built these things. Like, the Germans continued building destroyers, but did they have a truly unique new destroyer class during the war? Was there an incrementally improved destroyer class, or did you just see destroyers that might have had a couple teeny tiny little modifications and then were modified for cost savings?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, can you point out, can somebody point to me a German destroyer class or destroyer that came about during the war that was more than just the
pinnacle of the German destroyers were, in my opinion, the Narvik class.
Yeah, the 36Bs.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And again, the thing is, like, that's because that's where German destroyer lineage ended.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't a Fletcher class for the Germans. They didn't have time or the resources, in terms of manpower, research and development, or just the money to say, hey, we're going to lay down all this research to start, deploying new destroyers, putting new destroyers in the water beyond just kind of basic hulls of what they had, or at least certainly not, again, on that almost entirely reimagined level. The British, to a certain extent, really didn't either. They also made, improvements on designs that they had, but they didn't have a grand rollout like the U.S. did with the Fletcher. Especially not with a destroyer that was as adaptable and, customizable is a bad word, but it's probably the easiest one to go with for the Fletcher. Something that can be as adapted to do so many things and have so many of those small incremental improvements built onto the ship that was already there without causing other detriments.
Right.
But I'm ranting like crazy. I apologize.
Yeah, you are, man, nonstop. Golly.
Hey, I'm good with it, man.
I am sorry, Bry Guy.
Telemachus's fuel was a limiting factor for ships for some countries. Yeah, absolutely. It's in most countries. I mean, they only put enough fuel in Yamato to get her to
Okinawa.
Okinawa, beach her, and she was to become a shore battery.
Absolutely. Which is about the funniest thing. Just in terms of life's great ironies. Like here we have this giant battleship that will be the pinnacle of our decisive engagement doctrine. Well, you got a little Japanese guy, in logistics jingling the change in his pockets like, well, yes, but no. See, here's the problem. Kind of like all those logisticians at, OKH that were like, well, yeah, you're right. We're certainly going to, invade the Soviet Union and knock them out in 12 weeks, and then the workers are going to be back in the factories. But here's the problem.
Yes, but no.
Yeah, like, cool story. Still don't have gas, dog. Still can't actually make it happen. We're still trying to distill petroleum and petrol products out of pine needles. So,
and
ask the South how acorns work for coffee, and I think the same answer will be.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. People don't get into that, but the Japanese were attempting, by not just the end of 1945, like rather earlier than most people would care to admit, attempting, especially for domestic fuel oil, to make Reese's wife, to make petroleum distillates, essentially.
She's not in here.
Or fuel oil. Oh, I thought you were leaning over talking to her. Out of fucking pine needles. Like, that doesn't. Yikes, guys! You can barely make liquor out of pine needles, and it tastes like shit. But yeah. Anyways.
True fact.
Sorry.
To Telemachus's point of, why the best ship, tank, whatever, didn't matter. That's why I didn't say best. I said my favorite.
Accurate. That's why mine's Rodney.
Just like Star Wars. What's the best Star Wars movie? Best Star Wars movie, unequivocally, undoubtedly, is Empire Strikes Back. Was my favorite Star Wars movie? Star Wars.
Phantom Menace.
And if you feel that way, that's I'm glad you have that opinion.
Crazy.
Yeah, you can be wrong, McMurray.
I will never say somebody's wrong for them liking something,
except maybe Rise of Skywalker.
I will not say somebody is wrong.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, Rodney is. Oh,
I'm in love with the Rodney and the Nelson, man. Big fan. Like, are they silly as shit? Yes.
Yeah. But God, they are great.
A surprisingly adaptable, 1922 Washington Naval Treaty design. Yeah. Not quite as, arguably adaptable as the blatantly treaty breaking Japanese stuff that you see out there. But at the same time, for people who had this strange obsession with following the Washington Naval Treaty, like the British did, they didn't even try to like game the Washington Naval Treaty like the U.S. did. They certainly built a battleship that over the course of 10 years, they managed to work out how are we going to get this thing to work. And it did. I mean, the Nelson and the Rodney worked. By the time they got the steering figured out, they were relatively agile, easy enough to steer, certainly manageable enough to steer, especially when you're putting them up against, cost-saving and budgetary-minded British battleships of the war. That's where you get most of the British wartime production / immediately pre-wartime production battleships were cost-saving measures, which is understandable. The Depression didn't just hit the U.S. hard, but man, Rodney, dog.
It's a good-looking ship. No, there's no two ways about that.
And I don't care what people say about the Britains or whatever, the French front turreters. No, they don't work. The Japanese Miyokos, yeah, they're up front, but they're cruisers. They're goofy looking. They don't work. Like, God damn, man, look at that. Look at that. There's some donk on Rodney. You gotta love it. That whole class is just gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Brian, are you asleep yet, buddy? I apologize.
No.
Oh, holy shit.
I'm just painting.
Crazy thoughts for y'all.
Go
up?
Ahead.
Way off whatever you're talking about. But Victorian era colonial stuff, like in Northwest Frontier, Australian Frontier, Southwest Frontier, South Africa Frontier, but with like Ice Age wildlife.
Megafauna?
Yeah.
In the Victorian era? I got you. I got you.
I'm down with that. I am down with that.
Mammoths and shit?
This is an idea for a book series I've been cultivating in my head.
Or do you mean dinosaurs? Because both, yes.
Potentially both, but mostly like Pleistocene stuff.
Well, most of mine is, I think, polystyrene, but we could probably make that work.
Nice. Nice.
What strata was your polystyrene found in? Next question. What strata will your polystyrene be found in?
Yeah, exactly. I believe that's the dumpster. But no, yeah, dude, absolutely, man. I've got
I'm not talking gaming. I'm talking about writing an actual like novel in that world.
Oh, okay.
Because I've been developing this in my head for a while.
That's what I play Tusky with. Like that's certainly something. If you would like to borrow the characters of Hugh Jarse and his other friends,
that's awesome.
Like Harry Cocker and stuff, by all means you can. They're certainly Victorian.
I may or may not. It has to be a separate world because I don't like dealing with the British. So there will be like a British sub in, and an Ottoman sub in, and a German sub in.
Well, yeah, they're the Tiddish or something, and that's where you get Hugh Jarse and Harry Cocker. But yeah, no, that's understandable.
Yeah.
What you were talking earlier about potential like pre-World War I or alternate World War I stuff.
Yeah. So
there's
a mini series called Rough Riders that Ted Turner did, and it's decent. It's a good little romp to watch. Not incredibly historically accurate, but Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders are charging up Kettle Hill, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It may have been San Juan, or one of the hills, and they encounter German machine gunners.
Yes,
on the top of San Juan Hill. And I'm trying to think about how McKinley and Roosevelt would react to that.
Yeah. What's the Kaiser's War? That's one of David Manley's. His next title actually coming out is a campaign and rule book for German American.
Oh, like the invasion of New York and stuff?
Yeah, German American 1902.
Gotcha. Well,
right. See, now Reese has a boner too.
So, have you seen Breaker Morant?
I watched Breaker Morant like 2 days ago.
There's a throw. Really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a throwaway line in there. Matter that like the Kaiser's watching this case very closely or something of that matter, which is not true, but it's a throwaway line. And I took that line and I combined it with Teddy Roosevelt finding Germans on the top of San Juan Hill. And I took all the stuff going on in the Sudan and I threw it in a big melting pot. And I came up with the British and the Americans against the Germans, the Boers, the Spanish, and the Ottomans.
I like it.
It's not truly World War I, and it's not much of a continental war. It's
I will
the colonies.
Begin 3D printing ships.
Do it. And if you print them in 1/2400th, I will buy them.
That's not too hard to do.
Cool.
Like, what scale does Wartime Journal print or design ships in, Chris? 1800, mainly 1812. So that's easy enough to.
I think so.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same line that the ones you saw at March to Victory come out of.
Which I still have a few of those.
The ones that I gave you?
Yes, I have all of them that you gave me.
Hell yeah.
Did
I give you ones in 1/1200?
You gave me one in every sort of scale. I don't know what scale I've got.
Outstanding. That's the best way to do it. You're already on your way to becoming a truly fucking insane naval gamer.
But yeah. So as I said, the naval side is the only part I'm struggling with this, because I have a large Ottoman army. It doubles as a footstool.
As it would.
Anyway,
I like it. 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 I like it a whole lot. I like it.
So I've got like 25 cavalry for it in 54 millimeter, my Ottoman army. Which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but in 54 millimeter, that's a table full.
That's a lot of, that's a huge amount. I would imagine in 54. To be honest with you.
And then I've got tons of British. I need to amp up my British cavalry, to be honest, and I need to amp up my artillery for all sides. And I've got a decent amount of Americans, and I've got a decent amount of Spanish, and a decent amount of Germans, and probably 40 to 60 Boers on foot. And I need their cavalry and their guns. So
that sounds like I made a bunch of stuff for a Wild Bunch game of Bigger Battles.
Oh, that would be fun.
For the ending battle, the ending scene kind of in Wild Bunch.
Yeah.
I guess not the ending scene, but like kind of the climax of Wild Bunch.
I think 54 millimeter Mexican Revolution would be a ton of fun.
Correct. Mainly because it's Old West with 1911s, and that just makes me happy.
And don't forget the 1897s.
Correct.
That's the only difference in a Wild Bunch shooting competition and a Cowboy Action shooting competition is 1911s and 1897s.
Correct, baby. Single Action Shooting Society does both of them, and it's fantastic.
I still need a single action army.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
I need one in 357 though.
I was about to say maybe in a manageable something or other. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but anyhow, American stuff. Sorry, guys. It's the sound of all of our international viewers rolling their eyes.
You know what the most American firearm would be that doesn't exist? A single action army that accepts the moon clipped 45 ACP from the 1917 victory battle.
How would that even work? How would you get a moon clip into a single action army, Reese?
You wouldn't.
Okay. All right. Then that's where we're at. Yes.
But I'm saying that would be funny.
That'd be ridiculous. Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. Accurate.
Anyway.
I'm a fan. I like it.
I don't know if Chris is from Walkabout still on here or not. I have taken scale 1911s and equipped some Civil War cavalry with them.
Civil War?
Yes. And trimmed some carbines off and other things like that. And I'm trying to make 1916 era cavalry.
There you go. I was about to say that, or like strikers. That's what that sounds like to me.
And I've trimmed up some Springfields and stuck them in the rifle buckets so that they don't have sharps in the rifle buckets. I've done some things like that.
Nice.
They look hideous, but I like them.
That's just life, man. Just paint them. You'll be fine. I don't think that actually works.
I need to quit buying stuff and actually paint and build.
Buddy, you should have participated in this really awesome painting activity.
You know, I had a lot of work, and I did participate, and I got 2 whole figures done.
Congratulations.
Hey, so did I.
That counts.
So did I.
That counts.
I started them and finished them September 30th.
I got 2 Navy SEALs done. For
that counts.
Yeah, I speaking of Navy SEALs, I looked for some SEAL toys at the zoo. Couldn't find any.
That's funny.
I mean, I did find one. He was this damn big.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll figure something out with that.
See, at that point in time, that would be a SEAL on a SEAL in the other direction, and that could be your SEAL amphibious cavalry.
What?
Just throwing that out there.
So I said I was painting seals, and
so
Chris asked if I was painting the mammal or the crazy guys with green faces.
Well, I mean, they're still mammals.
Yeah, but the aquatic mammal is not the crazy guy with the green face.
Well, that's fair. So, gray face.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, paint both of them.
Yeah.
Get
you
some.
ready to go out?
Yeah.
You want to go out?
Always talking to Corey. Man, 15 millimeter buildings are kind of fun to put together, but then also kind of suck.
So here's another idea I had, right? So all this stuff is going on, this giant war in 1898. Does Britain take the opportunity to invade Afghanistan again?
Well, that's the thing, right?
Again?
I would say that the British would probably be relatively inclined to jump in against because if the Germans jump in and the Boers jump in on the side of the Germans, then the British are going to have to jump in on the side of the Americans.
Well, my thought is all you got to do is change the German involvement and make the Germans assist these smaller proxy wars, and people find out about it.
Well, that's my point. Is that then you've got British involvement because the British were already, balls deep in proxy wars.
Yeah, because I'm saying South Africa turns into Germans versus British. It's World War I except 1898, and as far as that far as going.
Yeah,
so then if you East Africa, you're going to have all that stuff going on.
So then from there, if you wind up with Germans versus British there, do you wind up with is that the catalyst for this entire conflict, or is some sort of Americans discovering Germans on top of
the Spanish-American War happens before the Boer War?
Correct.
But the Jameson raid, yes, barely, but it does.
Okay. All right.
Because the Spanish invented the concentration camp, not the British.
Okay.
And that's a story for another ballgame. But the Jameson raid is before the Spanish-American War.
Okay. What are we talking about? Like matter of months?
Well, the Jameson raid's 1896, isn't it?
No, I know that. Yes, I mean the Spanish-American War and the Boer War. That seems like you're splitting hairs almost.
We are splitting hairs at that point.
That's fine. I'm not angry about it.
But Spanish-American War was April 21st. Well, let's just do the Cuban part.
Okay.
Which ended in August of 1898.
See, if you want a really fun one, what if the British took advantage of the instability in the Philippines? Or not the British, the Germans. This is one of my favorite what ifs here. Is what if the Germans took advantage of the instability in the Philippines and said, you know what, we have a modern armored cruiser in Tsingtao. Let's just smack them and take the Philippines.
That opens that door wide open.
It does. And now
I think this would be an amazing multi-decade wargaming campaign where every battle writes part of the history. And I need a certain gentleman by the name of Henry Hyde to write this for me.
hours. Yeah.
So I was wrong. The Boer War started October 11th of 1899.
Okay.
So we're a year off. But honestly, tensions could kick off earlier.
Correct.
That's not hard to imagine. If you look at the Jameson raid, it's December 29th through January 2nd, 1895, 1896.
Correct.
So tensions are already there.
Yes. You just don't have
here's my crazy idea. Obviously, you have the great game over Afghanistan going on between Russia and Britain.
Yeah.
Where does Russia fall?
Well, that was my next point is, does Russia get involved in this? Because that would be pretty cool. Because I want to see the Royal Navy smack the living crap out of.
So I played a skirmish campaign a long time ago where the Ottomans came in and assisted Afghanistan against the British. But that was not the focus of the campaign.
So now the Ottomans and the Russians are friends at this point?
I don't know. That's what I can't figure out.
I hope everybody else's mind is fucking blowing his mind.
And I don't think they're friends, but they played a religion card, I think is how I phrased it, where the Ottomans came in and assisted a Muslim force against the British.
Correct.
And a small squad of elite Russian troops got caught in Kabul during the Battle of Kabul between the Ottomans and the British. And the skirmish campaign was about these Russians just trying to get out alive.
Huh.
And it was cool. It was cool.
I'm smelling what you're stepping in.
And I have those custom miniatures, and they are decked out. One of them has a Winchester A5 on top of a Mosin.
And say hello to no longer half chubbed into fully torqued.
And then another one is running some sort of lever gun. It was not a Winchester 1895. It was one of the earlier rimfire because they were used in, was it the auto? Because didn't the Ottomans use lever actions against the Russians at one point?
Yes, and I believe the Russians used lever actions against the Ottomans as well.
Yeah, that's how I justified that. And then I gave one of them an experimental Spencer shotgun.
That's pretty sweet too. Oh god damn.
So yeah, when I'm saying I want to deck these guys out and have a full out war, I'm not talking about leaving technology there. Technology is going to rapidly advance.
That makes sense.
Your Winchester 1897s are going to be frontline weapons at some point.
Again, that makes sense. I mean, it's you essentially have the same. You got to think you got the same like jump in technology, right? That you do during World War II or World War I in terms of the amount of technology that you just step up.
And here's my question:
you just start a little earlier. So
here's my question: with added pressure, how long does it take John Browning and Colt to come up with a 1911?
Well, that's the thing, right?
Because they're already working on it.
Correct.
They have all that entire series of pistols before it. The Browning 1900s on the table.
The 1908. Yeah, exactly. That's my point, is that it's already there. It's just not.
You just need a 45 ACP. You need 45 ACP and a thumb safety at that point.
Well, yeah. Well, thumb safety was already kind of there, just a different style of thumb safety.
Yeah.
From the 1903.
You're smelling what I'm stepping in.
I am 100%. And honestly, 45 ACP wasn't necessarily a raucous technological development. It was but it is the reason. It is the reason the 1911 is the 1911. Correct.
Because the pistol was designed around the cartridge, not the cartridge around the pistol.
Correct.
And if we had stayed with like a 380 or a 38, it would be a completely different ballgame.
Well, what if you just run the 38 Super? Oh, 9mm Largo, and we're back to, anyways, yes.
Yeah.
We're not getting into this.
Hey, we do have the Spanish.
I know, that's my point. You've got 9mm Largo or 9mm Export or whatever you want to call it.
9mm Largo. Let's take a look at that. What year was that come up with?
Afterwards, but it's the same idea as any other 921. Whether it's 9 Largo.
It's a 923. It was designed in 1901 by Theodore Bergman.
Correct.
So,
which is where you've got. Also, you could probably bring in early submachine guns.
You got a Bergman Bandyard in 1903. That's going to come out a year or two early.
Correct. Same with the
C96. The C96 is already there.
Correct.
It's
Winston Churchill already had one of those.
Honestly, the Luger might get there.
Almost certainly, because again,
the Luger was adopted in 04, but the first design came out in 1898.
Correct, because ultimately what you've got is the reason you know these pistols as the 1908 Luger and the 1911 isn't necessarily because the technology or the designs weren't there. That's just when they were adopted. And the only reason that they got adopted then is you have to think, okay, so these designs were prepped in 1908, 1909 for the 1911. So then in 1911 or in 1909, they could be submitted for a competition.
You've got all the pieces.
You do.
And at that point, frankly, the U.S. might adopt a 45 ACP Luger because they tested that.
They did.
And it was ready, and the 1911 was not.
Correct. The red balls are there. Or the 45 caliber C96, also tested by the U.S., just not adopted.
Honestly, if you had guys in the Philippines with 45 ACP Lugers, hands down, you're done. Well, 1911 never exists.
Except for the issue is we don't have. The only reason we have the 45 ACP to a certain extent is because of the Philippines.
Yes, and that's going to be a hard one to get my brain around and how we're going to develop an automatic pistol in that timeline. But
just the same thing. We need something more than this revolver that we've essentially had the same basis of technology for the last 7 years.
We played the Islam card earlier for Afghanistan. How does that play with the Moros?
Well, they're still there.
They're going to be. Do the Ottomans stick their nose in that one too?
I mean, at that point in time, I don't think the Ottomans have anything to stick that far. So I don't know that that's an issue.
But I think, and I'm purely political, I think they issue a letter or something because they're technically on the same side at that point.
Absolutely. Without question. It's just I don't think that there's actually anything to worry about having to game or figure out there.
I don't think the Americans face the Ottomans.
Hell yeah, they do. Everybody is fighting everybody, Reese.
Where? I mean, obviously naval combat, but on the ground, I don't think the Americans ever get there. Cuba is a mop-up. You send the squadrons to the Philippines.
In the Levant.
The forces from Cuba are sent to South Africa.
American expeditionary forces meet Ottoman forces in the Levant.
You got to get there first.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, if Teddy Roosevelt takes Jerusalem in 1900,
well, that's the thing. We're just short of the Great White Fleet. Like we've got the early pre-dreadnoughts, we just don't have the semi-dreadnoughts. Right?
And I hate to bring the frogs into this, but where the French fall?
Probably
on their face.
I was about to say probably in Paris 2 weeks in.
Anyway, I'm sorry, we just completely derailed this show, but I would play this campaign in a heartbeat.
Correct. This would be one of those real weird, like semi-diplomacy, semi-Kriegspiel campaigns that I'm a big fan of. Man, you know who would eat this shit up?
Who?
Fucking Joy of Wargaming. This sounds like one of his Braunschweigers or whatever.
Somebody tag him on this video in the comments, please.
That or just specify, hey, John, go look at this timestamp.
Yeah.
But yeah, because he's a big fan of overarching world creation and long-term campaigns.
Warmut's in the comments begging us to stop.
All right. Hey, Brian. Hey, Brian. Olive. Wine. Big long spears.
Anyway.
Greek stuff. Women that look like Zorba.
Charles raises two interesting points. The Balkans and French Indochina.
So again, I think you can have this, but ultimately there are all of these opportunities for conflict because you're exactly right. But at the same time,
I don't think the Balkans blow up.
I mean, the Balkans will always blow up. The Balkans were blowing up at the time, anyways, Reese.
I think it simmers because if you take the Ottoman presence out of it, not completely, but the Ottomans are having to back off because they're fighting wars on three fronts at that point.
I understand that. I mean, again, I would argue that the Ottoman or the Balkans are already popping off, so it's kind of just one of those like the Balkans can probably just fight amongst the Balkans at that point in time. But
I think the Balkans depend on the Russia card. If Russia stays out of it, the Balkans stay the same. If Russia jumps in, and it depends on which side.
Well, you could also think, are the Russians going to jump in hard, or is the Tsar going to take a Theodore Roosevelt, a Monroe Doctrine sort of idea where just stay out of our immediate sphere of influence and you guys are fine.
But then you get into Russo-Japanese War.
Well, except for does the Russo-Japanese War happen if the Japanese, as a British ally, are all of a sudden dealing with stuff on the opposite side? Or do the Japanese at that point in time say, you know what? We're about to beat up China. We don't really need to do that. We're just going to hang out because we're still pre-Russo-Japanese. We're at Sino-Japanese time, right? Like the Japanese are still barely catching up with basic protected cruisers to fight the Chinese at Yalu River and everything.
So if you're going to pull Japan and China into it, does the Boxer Rebellion happen? Or does it happen earlier because there's going to be less of a military presence in that area because they're going to be pulled out?
I would almost say let's just not even with that. But yes.
Yeah, I've got notebooks of potential timelines written down with this stuff. And you and I are on the same wavelength with it. It's freaky.
There is truly a whole lot there.
Yeah.
Man, this Leicester farm. So I'm putting together, I got a bunch of stuff and things for the basement a while back. These are...
I almost have Way City done, the terrain.
Oh, damn. That's a big step.
Yeah. I need to finish some signage and post them on my buildings and like build some stuff like that.
Reese built the entirety of Way City in 54 millimeter.
Not the entirety, more like a block, but
his board is a kilometer long.
You know what? Let's rock it. I'm sorry, Mr. Wiley, but I require your entire convention hall. We're only playing 54 millimeter this year.
Convention hall is the basement, my brother in Christ. Like, we swapped up a little bit. But yeah, no, I got you. Oh God, what the shit?
Is that March?
I don't know if March. I don't know where.
I can't make it this month.
Oh, dickhead. That's fair.
I was originally going to, and then I'm like, you know what? It is bear season. It is deer season, and I'm like, I might still be able to swing it. And then one of my best friends decided to get married that weekend. So.
Well, yeah, that'll do it.
You people and your fucking friends getting married, they need to stop it.
But that's all right. We'll figure stuff out.
Well,
there will always be more wargaming opportunities.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Not that it's wargaming related, but I got a job.
You have a job, Reese.
I'm losing my job come spring.
I know. I'm just giving you trouble. Where's your new job?
Same company, just at the feed mill now.
Oh.
Welcome to my world.
I've done it before. I'll do it again. I told them they got 40 more years of work out of me. They might as well put me somewhere I know what I'm doing. So.
You no more grand move to St. Louis to service all the gas station coffee machines?
No, I've got a buddy in St. Louis, but his potential love interest is moving up here.
I have a potential love interest?
No.
And who's this?
One of my old college sleepmates.
Oh.
I wouldn't let you anywhere near my sister-in-law. But.
Your sister-in-law?
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyway, I did not just announce that on public television, but.
Yeah, for all 4 people who are watching this. Yeah. Charles, can you find Reese's sister-in-law and tell her that...
There's 5 of us.
I'm sorry, we probably lost half of his listeners when we started ranting about 1898 alternate time.
Well, that's fair, but again, Charles,
we went from 10 to 5.
Sister-in-law and tell her there's cooler people in St. Louis. That'd be sweet.
Anyway, but yeah, that's what happens when you get me talking about literally my favorite gaming period and my favorite historical period.
That's fair. That's what that's
quite literally the title of the episode, Reese.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I love. And the naval part of it, if somebody else could handle it, that'd be great.
What up?
We will you give me ships and I'll find stats and I'll make sheets.
Cool. Cool.
About 30 to 45 minutes ago, it was asked favorite Star Wars ship.
Favorite Star Wars ship?
Yeah. I think everybody is fully aware of what my favorite Star Wars ship is.
Slave One.
Well, is there anyone to listen to your answer?
That's fair.
Yeah, we're down to 4 now.
I think we got it. We picked up another one. We started talking about Reese's sister-in-law.
But yeah, it is Slave One. Millennium Falcon's a good choice. I like it a lot. As far as fighters go, I got to go. If you're looking at both Imperial and Rebel, I really like the TIE Defender.
The wacky doodle one with like 3 crazy like TIE interceptor wings on it, but they're turning the other way.
Yep, exactly.
Is that ever in canon?
Yes.
Okay.
It is in canon. Dave Filoni brought it into canon in the 3rd season of Rebels.
It's Thrawn's baby.
Yep. Exactly. And as far as going to the Rebel side, I'm a B-Wing guy. I love the B-Wing.
Yep. That's mine.
The X-Wing's the classic fighter, and I like the Y-Wing also because to me the Y-Wing is reminiscent to all of the great American close air support fighters. You know, the P-47, the A-10. But there's just something about the B-Wing, how the cockpit stays in one place and everything spins around it. It's just for no real reason, because there's no up, down, or sideways in space. But fuck it, let's just keep the cockpit in a single position no matter where the ship moves around it.
That's got to be hard to fly. That would confuse me to no end.
A-Wings, baby. A-Wings.
A-Wings are good.
Ninguea says, are you serious? All Rebel scum ships suck.
All about that speed, that dirty, hot, nasty speed. I think Eleanor said that.
The A-Wing is a little sports car, man. It is. It gets up and goes.
Also, I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice this week. So,
okay.
You know, Charles, if she lived towards California, potentially, but
what?
Charles is advertising his stepson to any potential female relatives I may have.
What the hell? What the hell, Charles? Shit, man.
He's just saying.
Yeah.
Nguea says he drank the Imperial Kool-Aid many moons ago. Hey, don't get me wrong. I mean, I like the Imperial stuff. Have
you seen Ahsoka?
We have not watched the last episode yet, so shut up.
I haven't either, so we go.
I wasn't going to say any spoilers. I was just going to say, if you want to see some cool Imperial technology, Ahsoka's a good show.
I'm digging it so far. I like it. I don't know what all these people are bitching about. I think most of the people that are bitching are either my age and are stuck in the fucking 80s, or they are younger and don't remember what it was like when 1983 happened and there was no potential for new Star Wars ever again.
Yeah.
It's, you know, I am happy to have new Star Wars. And the next series coming out, Acolyte.
Mm-hmm.
That's looking pretty good also. It's like 100 years prior to the Clone Wars period.
I just watched the last Star Wars with my nephew. Sorry.
Which one?
10?
No, we're talking about Star Wars.
Or episode 9?
Skywalker?
No, okay. Rise of Skywalker?
Probably. where the Emperor comes back?
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
That was a joke movie.
I wasn't mad about it. It wasn't my favorite, but I wasn't mad about it.
Yeah. It was the best that could be done based off of what's his number did with episode 8.
Which was a great movie, but was an awful Star Wars movie.
8?
I don't remember what happened in 8. Is that where they had the dude with the big...
Last Jedi. If you remove Star Wars from it, and you watch it as
as a non-Star... Yeah.
Is that where Luke Skywalker came back?
Yeah, well, yes. That's where Skywalker is actually in it.
Yeah.
With the weird puffin things?
Yes.
Yeah, Porg.
What?
Porgs.
They're called Porgs. P-O-R-G, Porgs.
McMurray, I know we're probably cutting this show short pretty soon, so I got to give you an update on what's coming to my painting desk.
Yeah.
In the next couple of days, I should have a delivery of a bunch of Luft 46 1600 German aircraft.
Oh, nice. I have a P-80 right here. So, perfect. Let's fight.
Let's roll.
What scale?
Awesome.
1600. So they're not all going to be exact scale. They're going to be, some of them are going to be a little off.
Unacceptable.
Chris, how did you do that?
Do what?
You stuck your thumb in the air and then a little bubble with a thumbs up appeared.
I have no idea. It just did. Apparently it's something new.
Cool. It didn't do that to me. But I will have like the jet flying wings. I'll have like the advancement of some of the rocket fighters. I'll have all those in 1600. So
nice. Will you have a big half-naked German dude get chopped up by your flying wing?
You know what? He'd be a really tiny half-naked German dude, but we could do it.
I'm about to say, well, you got to take what you can get. Sometimes, the limitations of the models are just all you got.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's awesome.
So, as I said, I am fully exploring that weird Germans in the South Pacific in 1949.
Let's do it. Are you going to have, Plan Z ships, too? Or is that's a little beyond the pale? Because that shit got given up in, 1941. But, yeah.
I don't have any Navy stuff at all for it.
Oh, I have a bunch of German O cruisers. So
my thought is the United States and Britain completely dominate the seas around this island.
That makes sense.
And the Russians send some air assets and an expeditionary force, but it's going to be mostly British and UN with the occasional Russians popping up.
That's fair.
The US too. But I mean, I've got MiG-15s. I've got MiG-9s.
Nice.
I haven't painted them yet, but I have the weird Yak 23. It's basically
I was about to say, do you have the Yak close air support?
That's a great question. Hang
on.
Well,
I mean, any Yak or, an advanced. Do you have some sort of advanced Sturmovik? That'd be weird as shit.
I'm not sure. I might just use regular Sturmoviks, but I have an IL-28 Beagle. I think it's a little late, but we can make it work.
Like this life again. Nothing drives innovation like wartime.
Exactly, especially when you know that there's a bunch of Nazi scientists if you win.
Yeah, right. Oh, shit, big time.
I have a couple of weird Nazi flying saucers too. So
nice. That's the cool thing about your 1898 Russians. That's why they need to be involved so that we can have their pipe battleships.
What if it's the same universe, man?
That's fine. Let's do it. I don't know how on earth they're going to get to World War II with what
we're not going to. It's going to be so decimated. But World War II is going to take place in 1935 at this rate.
Well, I mean, I don't think World War II would take place. It sounds like stuff pretty tuckered out after what we were talking about. But I feel
you're right, because there wouldn't be any continental warfare. It'd just be
I was about to say, people kind of thought that in 1919 though too. So who knows?
Yeah, but but if you leave France out of it, you don't have the big trench lines. It's all fought in the colonies.
Correct.
So who knows? Anyway, sorry.
I am a fan. I am excited for your weird post World War II. Your weird Korea. Mm-hmm. Not that Korea already isn't weird enough, but yeah.
Speaking of Korea, sometime this month I shall box up and send you some figures.
Oh, sweet! I wasn't even thinking about that.
I have.
I was just thinking of weird Korea, like best Korea and stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of the weirdest Korea.
Oh yeah.
Hey, that was a good kit.
You built that kit, Bry Guy?
You got the chopper? Oh yeah.
I already have the chopper built. I've had it for years.
That whole set.
You have the whole set?
I had it.
Oh.
Atomic Dog had the whole set.
You know how many limbs I've had to auction off in order to afford tracking down these sets?
Oh yeah.
He says it's like he said it like it's no big deal. I'm like, oh yeah.
Mick Murray has ridden this emotional roller coaster with me.
Have fun with your one kidney, Reese. I used to have both those. Same way.
Yeah, I almost had the ambulance. I almost had it. The guy got me with 5 seconds left in the auction.
Fun fact:
Rainbow series, man.
It's secretly Brian.
I would not be surprised.
I had the Rambo series.
Yeah, I have not seen another one for under $70 since.
I almost grabbed the Rambo or the Swift boat, the Revel Swift boat that they put in that 28mm Rambo series.
Yeah.
Or pack. I almost grabbed that today, and then I decided against it, probably rather intelligently. But yeah.
McMurray, did I tell you I have a PBR and 2 SEAL support craft now?
In 28?
54.
Yeah,
cool. Sorry.
One you guys build a Blue Thunder. That was a good kit too.
But yeah, you and I just need to have a long phone call with notepads out, actually finalizing this timeline.
It's fair. Hey Brian, I got an Atlantis kit today.
Atlantis?
Yeah, they're not fancy kits like you like.
What's it for?
It's 1200 naval. But yeah.
Okay.
I have a boat problem, Brian. You know this. I'm sorry, buddy. You gotta love me for what I am, buddy.
Boats.
Boats and no hose because Reese is mean.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you know it.
I'm telling you, Charles, you got to help me out here. You're killing me with this whole son-in-law talk. What on earth is this? Oh. These 15 buildings, so things from the basement just converts, like they just print essentially their 28mm files with the doors inside the frames. Mm-hmm. And they are a little tough sometimes too.
And this shelf right here, McMurray,
yes,
is why you need larger figures.
I can't see that because I'm currently watching this on my phone. Also, because I need
it is a shelf full of 54mm buildings.
Oh hell yeah! Oh hell yeah!
As I said, I've got way now, so it'll make an appearance in March.
Downright inspiring.
Well,
I thought you just said you were going to make it out in March.
I'm not going to make it out this month. I will make it out in March.
Oh, okay. I got you. I was wondering where you found a deer season in March. Okay, that makes more sense.
No, our deer season ends February 28th.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ, ours is
middle of
November.
I don't hunt past second week of January, though, just ethically.
Why?
Because at that point, most of the deer down here have shed antlers, and you can't tell what's a doe or a buck. And yes, you can count them all in your antlerless tags, but I'd rather kill them in the fall when they still have horns.
Oh, okay.
Antlers.
I'm about to say I'm going for does anyways, man. You got to get the delicious, and Jesus Christ, they're a pest here.
Yeah. I need to fill my freezer. We're getting low.
You want a lot of meat on your deer? Come see us. Our deer are fucking huge.
Yeah, but then I got to pay out of state hunting permits.
Too damn expensive.
Well, there is that.
Raucously expensive.
I can kill 6 deer for $25 down here.
Pretty close. Pretty close. Not quite that low. I think our tags are usually $7, but yeah.
But I mean, I buy my hunting license, and I get 6 deer tags.
You gotta buy a license every year?
Yeah.
That's wild. Okay.
I mean, I just haven't got my lifetime license yet because I don't want to shuck it out that kind of money yet. But yeah.
Oh, there you go.
The other thing up here is you either do bow, shotgun, or muzzle loader black powder. Mm-hmm. Cannot use a rifle.
Can't use center fire or anything because
I'm perfectly fine with archery. So
the other issue is ground blinds. Ground blinds suck, but yeah.
Yeah. I guess it is Illinois. They don't have trees.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, we got shit ton of trees, dude. Can't swing a dead cat without hitting a fucking tree around this joint. Except in the middle of the cornfields.
Ding, ding.
Yeah.
That's okay. You just set up on a hill, Reese. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
We got hills?
Lobbing that crossbow bolt just... Yeah. Oh, he jumped the straight. If I have to revert back to geometry to figure out the trajectory of my arrow, the shot is too far.
Accurate. Correct. Oh, that's the porch. That makes more sense.
Now I see why all these Midwesterners move out here to Arizona, man.
Why?
Because you guys are all bored.
Do you just call Reese boring?
Yeah, all boring over there, man.
I will fight you calling Reese boring.
We got it all, bro.
I go bear hunting with a crossbow. What do you do?
You got everything but grass and trees.
We got tons of that. Everyone, hello, Mogollon Rim, White Mountains. We have the forest. We have all that.
So, McMurray, have you seen the MiG-9?
Yes, at some point, yeah.
Yeah, they're a neat little aircraft. Didn't see much service, but they're a neat little aircraft.
Believe it or not, south of the border over there, at the border, it snows. It's 5,000, 6,000 feet up down there. Y'all think we're all sand dunes and all that crap.
We just think you're all sand dunes, homie.
State 48 is great.
Yeah, except for the whole, dry as a fucking bone business.
Anyways, catch up on all your chats, man.
Oh,
it's long gone.
Well, they want to know what your name would be if you were your Sith name. If you're on the dark side, Chris.
I have no idea.
Reginald Stumblecock.
There you go.
Victorian sci-fi Sith.
Right, exactly. Well, we are 2 hours in.
Are we coming to?
We definitely know Reese's favorite time frame and era.
Sorry, y'all.
That's okay.
Don't be. Quite literally the title of the episode. Don't be sorry.
Yeah. I mean, we still got Nguyen here.
Indeed.
We still got Charles.
I don't know how.
Because
especially after he spurned his offer of his stepson.
Yeah.
Right.
Rude.
So.
If you can pay the dowry in turkeys, we'll talk.
Your buddy in St. Louis doesn't have any turkeys. I got the coolest turkey in St. Louis. There you go. Done.
I'm completely teasing.
Done. My turkey will beat the shit out of that guy's turkey. That turkey is a psychopath. Huh.
I see rotor blades.
Oh, Richard's still here.
Any ideas for what?
Your Heinz?
An airplane.
Yep. The airplanes you're building for
these bad boys.
Yeah, for the 1-300 stuff we're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, that is such a cool paint job.
Those were some mean choppers.
Are you going to be able to model one with Dolph Lundgren flying it?
Well, you don't see him in there?
I built that too.
Yeah.
I actually got a game in this week.
Holy shit! What'd you play?
My 1-600 aircraft rules.
Yeah.
A flight of MiG-9s intercepting F-9F Panthers.
Nice.
With some slight modifications to add altitude.
Still big fan of those rules. Quite delightful.
Have you played them?
With you.
Okay, that one time.
And then a little bit by myself. Not entirely successfully. I won't lie to you.
Yeah. They're okay. They need help. But they
are quite fun and basically exactly what I'm looking for. I don't need anything tremendously detailed or anything like that. They are right up my alley. I'm not that much of an aircraft guy.
It is literally how fast can you turn into this guy and kill him?
Correct.
Who's going to treat me to dinner?
Yo, what's up?
Who is treating me to dinner?
Come on over.
I didn't eat dinner, so if you want to eat dinner for me, that'd be great.
Talking about in March, wherever it's going to be at. I don't even know where it's going to be at.
Hey,
we don't know where it's going to be at either.
I'll bring you dinner, Brian. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I tell you what. Let's all go out on March. If it's March and Brian's there, let's all go out to dinner.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll happen.
It's KC, so it's got to be a barbecue joint.
What? No, it doesn't.
It doesn't have to be.
For me, I've never been to KC, so it better be a barbecue joint.
No, you can get barbecue some other time for lunch or something. Every time I'm there, I get a taco 12-pack from Taco Bell, which I know you enjoy.
Don't want tacos.
And then I go back and eat it in the sketchiest hotel room on earth.
Oh, this is why we love you, McMurray.
Yeah, Ninguaya wants to know what is the Greek helmet book to your left behind you?
Greek helmet book?
Is that a Greek helmet? Or you just happy to see us, Brian?
That's Kings of War.
Oh yeah, Kings of War.
I'm sorry that you all see the disastrous mess that is behind me now that I've switched desk positions.
Hell yeah, Charles, you got some dragons, dude? That's badass. 2 mil. Hell yeah. 2 mil is the scale, my dude.
Oh, good grief.
So what would 2 mil be? Is that
like 1/600, 1/900?
1/900? Okay.
Somewhere in the middle. Most of the time 2 and 3 mil kind of blend together.
There's no way to do 1/2400th ground combat, is there?
Not really, because even tanks are obscenely small.
I've got 1/2400 scale tanks, but they're literally smaller than a piece of rice.
Yeah.
Wait, where did you find 1/2400 tanks? Are you talking about the sand in your litter box? What?
GHQ. They're made to be added onto the Liberty ships to be cargo on the Liberty ships.
That's pretty
Jesus Christ.
Just like I got 1/2400 scale B-17s and Corsairs and P-38s.
Jesus, I didn't even know they made those things.
Yep.
I've got a box of
B-25s also, and I got them on my USS Hornet.
I'm about to have a USS Hornet and 1/2400 once I finish these kits, these 15 mil kits.
There you go.
Size joke.
What?
I thought that was a size joke.
Nope. No,
Nice.
That was. Oh, you weren't here either. So what I picked up today was a 1/1200 scale Atlantis kind of kit box. It's a quote U.S. Combat Task Force. It's got Hornet, Washington, Canberra, Galveston, the frigate Dewey, which I'm pretty sure is a guided missile thing. The Sullivans, Powell, Barry, and then 3 kind of transports, an LST, and a Cold War era submarine. If the submarine isn't whatchamacallit, it's all yours, Chris. if the submarine isn't waterline.
I am.
Is it the U.S. Combat Task Force Fleet? You said.
Yeah, by Atlantis models 1200.
I am off work tomorrow, so after I clean, I may try to write up that timeline.
It does not look like it is a waterline.
What? Are you? None of these boats are fucking waterline?
No. The sub is not waterline.
It's all yours.
All the others are waterline.
Scale, but whatever.
Oh, and the Hornet is the Essex class with the angle deck.
Charles.
Yeah,
Charles. Ooh, second edition, Charles.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So, was that Kings of War? What was that?
This one is mine, Rampant, second edition.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Did anybody see what Joy of Wargaming did, where he threw together all the Rampant books and did like
Kings of War
Rangers?
Yeah,
that was pretty slick.
He was playing all kind. He's played all kinds of the Rampant books. Like he's going through.
I need to watch his show more.
He is. He's still not on the miniatures. He's still off the miniatures because of his eye.
Right. He's doing a lot of D&D stuff right now.
Just a shitload of solo AD&D. Yeah.
But he and I disagree on D&D respectfully. And so that's fine.
I mean, saying he likes it. Stuff. I think he's wrong. But what?
No, what you said? You think he's wrong too?
I said he likes it, and I think he's wrong.
Oh, okay. So I haven't watched a lot of his D&D stuff, but when he gets on his miniature stuff, man, that guy is right there with us.
It's outstanding. He's a good dude. Again, I hope he's doing all right. I haven't talked to him in a minute. Maybe I'll shoot him an email. But
yeah. So you were talking about like a beefed up Sturmovik. I don't really have anything like that.
I don't know if there was anything like that, to be honest.
No, but I mean, I'm saying I've got a couple more orders coming in.
Oh. I mean, I don't even know if there was a beefed up Sturmovik sort of thing that existed in history, is my point.
But I'm saying I could substitute like some old French jets or something like that.
That's fair.
For that. I have a couple of Canberras coming in, or Canberras, however you pronounce them.
Nice.
I've got
B-57s.
Well, I have them in British service too, so. But yes, B-57s. And then something called a Percival Provost that looks like it could work as a ground attack.
Weird British shit, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I picked up a bunch of like weird early jet stuff, and like I'm just going to paint this how I like it and throw it together.
Is this all from whatchamacallit still, Pico?
So a lot of that's from Tumbling Dice.
Oh, duh. I knew that.
But anything I can get from Pico, I usually get from Pico because I like having both Pico and Tumbling Dice in the same squadron because it looks cool.
Does.
A lot of people say that's weird. But then I also went to historical board gaming and got a bunch of Axis and Allies Weird War German aircraft because nobody makes 1/600 Weird War.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So, and picked up a better P-61 Black Widow because I hate Tumbling Dice's P-61. It looks like an alligator with a wing.
I gotcha.
So I picked up a few things like that. So
I was quite happy with. There are two different styles of aircraft, but I was quite happy with how they matched in terms of looking at my Pico armor stuff and my Tumbling Dice stuff.
So if you give me just a second, I'll do a comparison on 3D printed historical board gaming, Tumbling Dice, and Pico armor of the same aircraft, I think.
You know who I bet you would really like that video?
Who?
That YouTube channel Empire 44. Hey, look at Brian's got 28 millimeter Weird War right now, sitting right in front of him.
Nice.
Got some dust. Is that dust or Conflict 47?
Yeah, it's dust with the gorilla.
Okay,
see, and that's too weird for me.
Are those the apes?
Yeah, it's the apes, man.
Yeah, those are wild, man.
Do you know how expensive these are now to buy off of eBay?
They're crazy.
Yeah.
You said what? Empire 44?
I got these from Miniature
Yes,
Market.
your fucking YouTube channel, Dingus.
54.
54.
Empire 54.
I said that, didn't I?
You said 44.
44.
Whatever, dude.
I thought it was like a Memoir 44 channel or something.
Look at
No,
those suckers,
I meant
man.
you.
Yeah, I
Is
need
it
to get
Empire
back to
54 or
YouTube.
is it 54 millimeter Empire?
It's Empire
Oh.
54.
Okay, then yeah, I was kind of going to the right place.
The,
I just
the blog, the long defunct blog is Heroes of the 54 millimeter Empire.
Look at these Russians right here, man. Oh, snap.
Yep. Okay, the Lester house is completed. All I have
It's gonna
left
be
to
in
do is the
Grimdale.
Lester farm. That's Grimdale?
Chris, I'm still working on Undaunted Cactus Air Force.
Nice.
And I'm working on potential air sea rescue operations for it as well. Because that would be what would make it different. Because I've got Catalinas, I've got stuff like that. So
Did you guys see where they're bringing the Catalina back? Because apparently the general
Yes, they are.
The general focus of the world now is curing any chance of male erectile dysfunction. So they're bringing the Catalina back, potentially.
Yeah.
Like as a turbo.
No, there's no
platform.
potential. They are doing it.
it's like Catalina Incorporated or something is the company doing it. They're full on doing it.
It's certainly not PBY anymore, but yeah, it's just a turbo prop plane, which is, I say just, but super fucking cool.
Yeah, here's my PBY.
Nice.
So. Sorry, we are probably running the show into the ground at this point.
Well, it's still our favorite stuff.
Oh, it is. And
I still say that you should absolutely do that comparison video and put it on your YouTube channel.
And I will at some point. I got a long list of video ideas I need to work through, but I needed to find a stinking job before I did any of that because YouTube doesn't pay the bills.
I understand that.
And I'm not faulting anybody for pressuring me. I really appreciate the support. That I view it all as support.
Yeah, quit being a little turd and make a quick YouTube video because you can do that in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm just not as technologically advanced as some of y'all.
You're certainly more technologically advanced than me. You have one YouTube video put up.
2. Thank
Well,
you.
there you go, man.
2.
That's 2 more than 0.
I struggle with decals on 1-600 aircraft.
I don't do them.
And I struggle to get paint to stick to tumbling dice.
Do you not prime them?
Not usually.
You should.
Prime them.
Spray prime them.
Okay, I got to find a place to spray paint then.
Yeah, because they need the paint needs to stick to something, man.
You got it outside, don't you?
I do have an outside. I also have
like,
a landlord. So.
Well, yeah. So wait until it's late at night, walk outside, spray paint, and then walk back inside.
Not a bad idea.
Like
your minis.
Yeah, buddy. That or you could always get like a bottle of Steinel Res. Or Mentos or anything else.
The spray primer, will that work on the tumbling dice naval stuff too?
It's what I use on all of them.
Okay. And do I go ahead and put them on the sea bases, or do I keep them off and just play them on a blue mat?
I usually play them on a blue mat at that scale.
Okay.
What scale?
1/24.
It's really up to you, to be honest with you.
Well, I don't know what to do, and I'm okay not knowing. I just don't know.
I usually keep anything that I usually have naval above 1/6000.
Mm-hmm.
I usually keep off of bases.
Okay.
But your 120 or your 2400 stuff, those are small ships, but I'd keep them off the bases. Well, it's a 1200, Chris.
This is 2400.
That's 2400.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're closer to the camera now. My bad. That's a good point, though. If you wanted to have bases, since those are small, clear bases would probably not be a bad idea.
See, most of them came with bases.
Yes, but not clear, are they?
And they're not great.
Yeah, that's my point.
So here's my question: do I melt them all down on my stove and cast 54 millimeter mounted cores out of them? Do I?
What, the ships or the bases?
The bases.
Yours came with bases?
Yeah.
I don't know that any of my tumbling dice ship have ever come with bases. I don't have any of their ironclads, but yeah.
Yep.
Huh.
They did. and they're like custom molded to just fit perfectly on them.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Up to you. Again, I mean, if you're going to, clear bases are probably the way to go. I'm not a huge fan of clear bases usually, but that's certainly probably the best use for them, because then you can also alternate. You don't have to worry about painting them brown to be on the Mississippi, but then, oh man, I want to play in the Atlantic, then I have brown bases on a white or on a
No.
blue mat.
This is my naval cloth. I don't care if it's the Mississippi or if it's the North Atlantic. This is
you need to see the Mississippi, homie.
So it's way too bright to be the Mississippi, but it's what I have. It has a bunch of islands on it, but we're gonna play it anyway.
That's fine.
So
you can fight around islands.
It is what I use for air combat in the South Pacific. It is what I use for Marines in the Mekong. It is what I use for Brown Water Navy. So.
Well, some of us have got to get up early and go to work tomorrow.
I'm going to be up half the night writing. So
I get to sleep in now, man, because sun don't come up till what, like 5:30? 5:30, 6 o'clock now?
You don't wake up until the sun comes up?
Yeah, it's wintertime. I get to sleep in a little bit longer.
This guy.
Yeah.
Wait till
wintertime in Arizona is anytime it gets below 95.
Hey, our low is supposed to be 30 on Friday, Saturday, I think.
Yeah, it's
not
right
okay.
now.
Ours is supposed to be real cold too. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, 40. It's not going to be 30, but
still too damn cold.
Well, and my problem is I got my first shot on the turkey on Friday and my second shot on Saturday. That's another first shot on Saturday, actually. And so the birds are going to be real frosty. With it being
is that a bad thing? Do they get pissy when they get cold?
I just prefer not to get kicked in the nuts. But
so, I mean, that sounds like a bad thing.
It is.
Okay.
I mean, the birds are happy. Then I am less happy.
Well, Saturday I'm going to be at Kansas City Renaissance Festival.
Enjoy.
The Renaissance Festival?
Yep.
I used to eat those turkey legs all the time, and then they got like greasy.
You can thank me for those turkey legs.
Yeah.
Facts. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up.
Yes.
Oh, would you stop
Jesus
it?
Christ, Brian.
But I want to thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. So, guys, for those that stayed around, and then Guaya, Meandering Mike, Charles, Telemachus, thank you guys. Like I said, I'm out this weekend. I'm not sure if I'm going to be starting up Saturday shows again or not. I don't know. We'll have to see what the wife wants.
You do, man. You got to do what you got to do.
That's what's important. So, but for now, we'll keep on doing the Wednesdays, and hopefully continue to have the same bat channel, same bat time, and same bat people. So, thanks again, everybody. Appreciate it. And until next time, we'll see you on the flip side.